In the heartland of America, where amber waves of grain stretch out as far as the eye can see, lies the sleepy town of Holcomb, Kansas. Nestled amidst fields of corn and wheat, this close-knit community prided itself on its simplicity, its values, and its sense of security. But on a fateful November evening in 1959, the tranquility of Holcomb was shattered by a crime so brutal, so senseless, that it would haunt the nation for years to come. At the center of this tragedy stood the Clutter family, Herbert, a respected and prosperous farmer, his wife, Bonnie, a gentle soul known for her kindness, and their two children, Nancy and Kenyon, both bright and promising teenagers. Their home, a modest farmhouse surrounded by acres of land, was a sanctuary from the hustle and bustle of the outside world. Little did the Clutters know that their peaceful existence was about to be violently disrupted by two strangers with sinister intentions. Perry Smith and Richard "Dick" Hickock, two ex-convicts with troubled pasts and a thirst for easy money, had heard whispers of Herbert Clutter's wealth and decided to pay a visit to his secluded farmhouse. On the evening of November 14th, under the cover of darkness, Smith and Hickock crept onto the Clutter property, their hearts pounding with anticipation. Armed with shotguns and knives, they approached the house, their minds consumed by thoughts of riches and escape. Inside the Clutter home, the family was unaware of the impending danger. They went about their evening routine, blissfully unaware of the evil that lurked just beyond their doorstep. It was only when Smith and Hickock burst through the door, their faces twisted with malice, that the Clutters' world descended into chaos. The intruders quickly subdued the family, binding their hands and feet with rope and demanding to know the whereabouts of Herbert Clutter's supposed fortune. But Herbert, a man of integrity and principle, insisted that there was no such wealth hidden within their home. Enraged by his defiance, one of the assailants raised his shotgun and fired, the deafening blast echoing through the house. In the blink of an eye, the Clutter family's peaceful existence was shattered. Herbert lay lifeless on the floor, a gaping wound in his forehead, while Bonnie and Nancy screamed in terror, their pleas falling on deaf ears. Kenyon, just 15 years old, was struck down with a single shot to the head, his dreams of the future snuffed out in an instant. With the Clutters subdued and their home ransacked, Smith and Hickock fled into the night, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable horror. As dawn broke over the Kansas countryside, the full extent of the tragedy became clear, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community of Holcomb and beyond. In the days and weeks that followed, law enforcement officials worked tirelessly to bring the perpetrators to justice. Leads were pursued, witnesses interviewed, and evidence meticulously gathered, all in the pursuit of answers for a grieving town. Finally, a breakthrough came when Smith and Hickock were apprehended in Las Vegas, their faces plastered across newspapers and television screens nationwide. Returned to Kansas to stand trial for their crimes, they faced a justice system determined to hold them accountable for the unspeakable acts they had committed. In 1960, Perry Smith and Richard Hickock were convicted of the Clutter family murders and sentenced to death by hanging. Their trial captivated the nation, drawing spectators from far and wide eager to witness the conclusion of a case that had gripped the country's collective conscience. But even as justice was served, the scars left by the Clutter murders would never fully heal. The town of Holcomb mourned the loss of one of its own, grappling with the senseless violence that had shattered its sense of security. And though time would pass and wounds would fade, the memory of that fateful November night would forever linger in the hearts and minds of those who called Holcomb home. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.